Today we are going to look at two of Toshiba's call center management solutions, IPedge Reporter and IPedge Contact. I'll be using the IPedge Contact for today's presentation, so we'll be viewing the full package. There's a lot of data on some of the slides in this presentation. Please feel free to pause the presentation so you can review the data at your leisure. Real-time information is critical when you're actively managing a call center. And these real-time information displays on the agent are customizable, so you can see exactly what you want to see and what the agents are doing and when they're doing it. I'm going to start on the Home tab, which brings me to my home page. And the first thing we have is an agent summary. So we've got the agent's ID and name. Then we move over to the number of calls, ACD, non-ACD, and outbound. And then we have the time spent in various activities. Below that, we have the support queue. This is a real-time display showing you telephone service factors, answer service factors, average talk time, max calls waiting, and requeues. Then we have a calls waiting column, and then a series of agent states, idle, ACD, non-ACD, and unavailable, along with logged out. At the bottom of my home page, there's a simple quick reference graph that shows you offered calls, answered calls, calls that interflowed between groups, and calls that were abandoned. Real-time displays are more fun to look at in real time. So here's a movie for you. We can look at agents and agents changing states. Along the top you'll see the ticker tape-like display. And here's the bottom of the home page with the chart. Now we're going to drill down into Peter and see what Peter's been doing. After drilling down into Peter, the first thing we start off with is an overall summary for his calls, and then we go to ACD calls, and then we will drill down into detail on non-ACD calls, and after that we'll go into outbound calls. I've switched to the real-time tab. Well, let's start at the top. There's a ticker tape-like display with real-time information about the various groups. And you can set this up for your preference. If you're not interested in what tech support's doing, it doesn't have to appear there. If you're interested in what all the groups are doing, you can set it up to view all the groups. On the left-hand side are a series of options to look at whatever group you want. Sales, technical support, and down at the bottom, we've got a couple of trunk group options. So, my queues, we're looking at the sales queue with various statistics across the top, and then a calls waiting column. And in the calls waiting column, you'll see a couple of calls are in red, so they've triggered an alarm. A couple of calls are in yellow, so they've triggered a caution alarm. Then we've got a column with idle agents in it, a column with agents on ACD calls, a column with agents on non-ACD calls, unavailable, and logged out. Still on the real-time tab, we've switched to the view of trunk group 1, and across the top we see some statistics: average time to abandon, average answer talk time, occupancy, utilization, and average time to answer. Below that we have some trunk information: trunk ID, state, call type, location. You can pause the presentation if you'd like to study these. The next tab we're going to look at is Review, and this allows you to start at the highest level, such as all agents, and drill down into individual agents' performance on an hour-by-hour basis. We are now on the Review tab. The Review area lets you examine call center statistics for the resources over the past 24-hour, 12-hour, last hour, or current day periods. The Review page includes 4 types of summary content, customizable by the user, including summary performance indicators, notifications, agent summary, and queue summary. Supervisors can use this section of the product to visually alert themselves when a particular agent has exceeded an ACD talk time threshold, or if an agent has allowed a call to requeue. I'm going to click on each of the items on the left-hand side and then scroll through the page. So if you see something you're interested in looking at, go ahead and pause the presentation and take a look at it. Replay is handy. Let's say when reviewing this morning's activity we noticed hold times go up, abandoned calls go up. We can use replay to go figure out what happened. With replay, you can play back historical agent or queue activity with up to the second accuracy and in the same format as the real-time review areas. So you don't need to get reacquainted with different screens. It looks just like the real-time information. Replay's trigger feature makes it easy to pinpoint the source of inefficiencies in your contact center. There are a number of triggers available that you can set to stop the recording when the trigger is tripped. So if you set it for the number of abandoned calls greater than some number, the data being replayed can be set to stop at the first abandoned call of the day to verify the queue volume, agents' actions at time, how many agents are logged in, how many are unavailable, how many are on outbound calls. So this is a really useful feature to figure out what went wrong. So for example, we can go back and review this morning's activities and look to see what happened. Why did our hold time go up and our abandoned calls go up? And we might find something as simple as a couple of agents took a break at the same time, so they need to communicate with each other better about coordinating breaks. We're now on the Reports tab, where we've got two report templates set up, a supervisor's report and a team lead report. There are over 150 reports that you can generate with this system. Each report will display for 3 seconds, so go ahead and pause the presentation if you want to look at a report and study the information on it. Here are some charts you can easily add to your reports just by selecting the checkbox. I've just gone down the page a little so you can see some of the other available charts. We're now on the Visualizer tab. Visualizer is a cradle-to-grave call reporting tool that provides invaluable resources for call analysis and tracking. You can quickly identify problem calls by using an in-depth search and filtering capability. Filter criteria can include dates, times, call types, call information such as telephone numbers, and resource participation or agents. Only records matching data specific to the filter that you built will be shown. Let's look at some examples. Alright, here's a very basic call. So we can see the start time, the end time, the type of call, the duration of the call, who the call was from, and the number the call was to, the time to answer, and the total talk time. Okay, here's a call with some activity. Hovering your mouse over one of these letters will give you an indication, a little help bubble that tells you what's going on at that time. So in this case we're on hold. We're on hold for 2 seconds, and we were going to mark. So this really is cradle-to-grave call reporting. Using Visualizer, you can drill down to the fine details of a call and how it was transferred and answered and handled, and really understand everything about this particular call. Another really important tool for managing a call center is a real-time display so the agents and everyone can see what's going on in real time in the call center. Sharing real-time information with the call center is a key factor in reaching your goals and objectives. Large screen display technology makes it easy to put this information out there so that everybody can see it and know up to the minute what's going on in the call center and whether targets are being met. Armed with this information, agents can help you meet your goals and objectives. That concludes this presentation on Strata Call Center Management Solutions. Thank you for attending and have a pleasant day.